She's very pretty in the face but a little chubby, but she's very short and doesn't work out. But the last time we hooked up, I just couldn't get over the extra fluff. I knew she wouldn't be someone I would ever marry, as I was already losing the spark and attraction to her. She was really cool to hang out with, and I told her I wasn't mentally ready to take the next step, but I enjoyed what we were doing now. When next you see a chubby girl walking around, when you see a chubby girl on a dating site, keep it moving. Hi guys, welcome back to True Tales and Thoughts. So today we're going to be reading some stories from the subreddit dating. So basically on this subreddit, people come in and give dating advice, ask for dating advice, or just share their dating experiences in general. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so, like the video, and without further ado, let's get into it. So the first story says, I ended it because she's not my type physically. Am I too shallow? I need advice. I, 28 male, have been dating this girl, 20 female, from Tinder for about a month. We went to a botanical garden for our first date, then met with a bunch of her friends later that night. There was a lot of chemistry and we were both very hands-on, but didn't do more than make out. Next date, a movie, a lot of inside/outside pants touching, and half a BJ. What does half a BJ mean? Did you get a BJ or not? What's half a BJ? Third date, we went to a put/bar combo. We both got drinks, and when we got done with a couple of games, we went to the car and she told me to find somewhere to park so that we can have adult interactions. I obliged and we went and had adult interactions a couple of different times and drove around. We had a couple of dates after having sex both times. Her sex drive and forwardness is amazing. It's exactly what I want in a partner. She's very pretty in the face but a little chubby. Not fat by any means, but she's very short, 4'11". Wow, that's quite short. And doesn't work out. So it's easy for her to carry extra weight. It didn't bother me at first, but the last time we hooked up, I just couldn't get over the extra fluff, so to speak. This isn't the only reason I broke things off. She was already a little possessive and immature, but I chalked that up to the age gap. Regardless, I knew she wouldn't be someone I would ever marry, as I was already losing the spark and attraction to her once the novelty of her being so sexually charged passed. She was really cool to hang out with, didn't judge me, and was very attracted to and open with me. But last night, she made a comment about how we have kind of stagnated, which is true, as I kind of put back the last week or so, and I told her I wasn't mentally ready to take the next step, which is true and has nothing to do with her appearance. But I enjoyed what we were doing now. She said it felt like a FWB and it's not what she's interested in, and that she also wasn't ready for a relationship. She pretty much cut me off and said, have a nice life. I sent her a goodbye text and that's that. Don't think I'll hear from her again, even though I did like hanging out with her and still would have in a friendly non-actual capacity. I wasn't necessarily ready to end it all, but she seemed pretty cold in her response once I wasn't ready. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be with her because she doesn't fit my ideal body type? Again, not the only factor, but probably the biggest factor. My ideal relationship is passion-filled and spontaneous, which it seemed like this could be, but I wasn't holding my end of the passion and deep attraction. Am I too shallow? I think that it's not a bad thing to have quote-unquote your type, a type. Most people have a type, and to me that's okay. But now my issue with this guy is that he actually kind of led this girl on, you know. It's true that he said that it's only later on that her flaws started popping up to him. But if you know that you have a type, why then go after someone who is not your type? You understand what I'm saying? I think that he was kind of wrong for doing that. If he saw her and knew that, oh, this is not my type, and physical looks are so important to me that I cannot let go of this, he shouldn't have pursued her in the first place, right? That's what I think. And to me, I think that physical issue is the main issue. It's very important to him. That's why all the other things he was mentioning, I don't think they're that big of an issue, because, my guy, you knew that this girl was 20 years old. At 20 years old, you're a baby, okay? So don't tell me that you not expect her to be at least a little bit immature. You know, a 20-year-old, that's a child, you know? So I think that this physical thing is very important to him, but he just doesn't want to admit that to himself. He feels like he's being too shallow. So he's coming up with all these other excuses. It's okay to want a slender girl who works out without the extra fluff, as you so nicely put it. But then you shouldn't have let her on. And the audacity for him to want her to keep hanging out with him. I'm very happy that she just cut him off, because clearly if she's doing this with you, it's because she wants to be in a relationship with you. She was even complaining about how their relationship has stagnated. That's because she wants things to progress and she wants something with you. So that is very insensitive to say, oh, I could have still hang out with her even in a non-actual capacity. No. Don't do that. If you don't like her because she's chubby, just say that you don't like her and then let her go. For me, there's no problem not liking the chubby type. That's fine. But when you see the chubby person, keep walking and then go and look for your gym body that works out and is very fit and tall, right? Because that's clearly what the guy wants from his write-up. Secondly, I have the impression that if this girl didn't set her boundaries straight, he would have kept having intimate relationships with her and kept her in a situationship forever until he now is ready to move on. So the only thing that is kind of upsetting him is that she decided to set her boundaries, even though it was not in the best way. She decided to set her boundaries and cut him off. So I think that kind of puts him off, because he would have loved to drag her into a situationship and just have her there and then complain about her body. So I think this outcome is the best outcome possible. She should just cut her losses and keep it moving, and this guy should go ahead and find someone who better suits his physical criteria. I think looks are important, but for me the personality of the person is way more important than looks, because it's only a matter of time before looks will fade away. We'll all get old at some point. We're not going to remain looking the way we look in our youth forever, right? Beauty is going to fade. That is a fact, right? So I think that if you find someone whose soul you are attracted to, don't let that go because of looks. And I think that this is what this guy is doing. The looks are too important for him to the point where he's like, this girl is everything that I want. She's this, she's that. He said things about her personality that he probably likes, but because of her looks, he's letting it go. It's clearly that important to him. But personally, I don't think that looks should hold that much weight in considering these things. So yeah, that's what I think, and let's get into the comment section to see what other people think. So to answer his question, I would say that no, you're not shallow. But when next you see a chubby girl walking around, keep it moving. When you see a chubby girl on the dating site, keep it moving, because that is clearly very important to you, and that's okay. So Opie came back to clarify himself and said, I want to clarify a few things. 1, I never let her on or gave her false promises. I told her I was only interested in her and was ready to focus on just one person. This wasn't enough for her as the weeks went on, and she wanted a bigger commitment, which I wasn't mentally ready for. Okay, but I don't know, I still feel like he was leading her on. 2, I didn't go into this wanting sex or even thinking about it. I had an ex of 10 years. We've been broken up for a year. No contact for 3 to 4 months. I am almost 30. It's time to put myself out there, and that's what I did. I can't help she initiated the actual advances. I wasn't gonna shut it down because I felt great in the moment. She was giving me things I craved from my previous robotic, sexless, and passionless relationship. She initiated every sexual encounter. She asked me for nudes. She talked dirty to me. Was I supposed to not go in the bathroom with her on the first date? Was I supposed to slap her hand as she reached out for my pants in the movie? Or tell her, no, I don't want to have spontaneous drunk sex with you? Okay. He went on to say, as the weeks went on, I realized I still had physical barriers I couldn't get past. along with the red flags of possessiveness and insecurity she raised, as well as her literally telling me, sometimes I like to start arguments for no reason. Of course, she's a 20-year-old, what do you expect? There were things I ignored because I liked her and enjoyed going on dates with someone, an experience that was new to me. She was legitimately upset that I went to watch UFC 300 at a friend's house instead of seeing her. She's a baby. If I had a day off or got off work early, she expected me to drive 40 minutes to her and spend my time with her. She was becoming possessive and clingy. She was questioning me on social media about my account following, tracking how many followers I had or the people I followed. She was already making comments about moving in. It was all just too much. She seemed punitive in the way she talked to me at times. If I didn't see her a day, she wanted to see me. 3. I never said I wasn't attracted to her or that she was fat. I found her attractive, but I realized as weeks went on how much of my attraction was because of how sexually forward she was and how into me she was. That's not sustainable over time, and I wasn't able to reciprocate the feelings she had for me, as she liked me a lot more than I liked her. I started to realize there wasn't some long period of phasing her out or whatever. It was about 3 to 4 days of me being a little more distant or less talkative, which sparked her saying our relationship has stagnated. Yes, I should have told her 3 to 4 days sooner, but I didn't know how to say it. That's my fault. You can all judge me if you want. Maybe I didn't explain everything well enough, but I refuse to accept the notion that I led her on or used her for sex. That's incredibly unfair and a total mispresentation of events. Yes, I was attracted to her, but I realized that a lot of the attraction was because of the things she gave me that I lacked from my previous relationship. She isn't someone I would normally date physically, trait-wise, but I was ignoring a lot of it because of how she made me feel. Once those feelings started to phase out, I realized I didn't like her as much as she liked me. I wasn't as attracted to her as she was to me. Call me shallow. Tell me if I care too much about physical traits and attraction, but don't misrepresent who I am as a person. I never lead anyone on or pressure anyone for sex. Not who I am. Idea of that is gross. Okay, so Opie has clarified. He has explained things to us and we understand. I don't know, guys, is it just me? I think that the physical thing is very important to him, and that's okay. I think that the only reason why he's coming out to really say this is just because of the comments he's been getting, right? So he feels the need to come and explain himself. But I think if physical is that important to you, that's fine, even though I don't agree. But anyway, it's okay. Let's go to the comments. The first person said he only wanted to get laid. When the girl started catching feelings, he cut her off. Yo, this guy's literally explaining. Opie came back and replied to this comment, says, I've never been in any real relationship apart from my ex, with whom I was from ages 15 to 27. This is the first girl that is more than just a one-night stand or a hookup. I have never taken another girl on a date before. I don't know what I'm ready for mentally, as I'm still getting over my ex, absolutely, but I knew I needed to put myself out there and actually date someone else. I'm almost 30, for fuck's sake. I'm definitely not ready for the deep commitment that she wanted. So that played a big factor than the physical traits, to be honest. Even if she was my most ideal woman, I'm not sure I'm ready to commit to anything. I still cry about my ex sometimes and don't want to get into something where feelings really get hurt if I'm not ready. So I don't understand. It seems like it's a contradiction. You want to put yourself out there, but you're not ready for a commitment. Why don't you just keep doing the one night stand and the hookups that you were doing before? Because I don't understand what he's saying. You guys, if you understand it, let me know, because he says, I'm almost 30. I want to put myself out there. When I hear that, I'm hearing I'm almost 30, I'm getting older, I want to be in a more stable and committed relationship, so I'm putting myself out there instead of having this one night stands and hookups I used to have. So I don't really get it. It's this one. So somebody replied to this comment and said, you sound exhausting. You don't know what you want. You are still getting over your ex to the point that you still cry about her. You think 30 means you need to date, but you're not ready for a deep and meaningful relationship and you don't want to get hurt. Moral of the story, look for something casual and don't actually date. Exactly. Because he keeps saying, I want to put myself out there. I used to have one night stands and hookups. I want to put myself out there and actually take someone on a date. But at the same time, I'm not ready for any serious commitment. That is really confusing. So OP came and replied and said, I feel exhausted. Of course, I don't know what I want, but I can't be alone forever. I need to find out how dating even works. Like I said, totally novice. I don't feel bad I went on dates. It was fun and nice to take someone out and spend time with them. I do feel bad we had sex as it changed the nature of our relationship. There's absolutely nothing wrong with dating people casually while you're still figuring out what you want in life. It has nothing to do with wanting to get hurt. I don't think another woman could ever hurt me right now, and that's a problem. I felt we were fairly casual, but she wanted something deeper. I think that OP needs to heal. He's clearly going through something. He needs to heal, get over his ex, then start putting himself out there. He does not have to date. He sounds to me like someone that has issues being alone. You know those kind of people that always crave connections, always crave relationships. He sounds like that kind of person. It sounds like he cannot just be alone and say, okay, look at now, this is my single era and I'm going to work on myself. So it's really bothersome to me. This guy, he needs help. He needs to step back, get some help, then put himself out there. This one said, you don't sound ready to date. Just because you're almost 30 is not an excuse to lead people on. Maybe you should focus on yourself for a while and get over your ex before you actually get involved with anyone else. You're not taking any accountability for leading someone on. She likely would not have been so sexually forward if she thought you were emotionally unavailable. That's the thing you need to take accountability for. Yes, he needs to step back. So this one said, so she wasn't cute enough to keep around, but cute enough to sleep with and have received oral a couple of times. Why not end it early and do that with someone you actually find attractive? So another person said, I mean, yeah, OP might have acted like a douche. My point is that I think he was, for the most part, being genuine with her. I'm a guy and I have plenty of types. And honestly, little extra weight really isn't a deal breaker for me with the right personality. Which it sounds like she had until they ran into more emotional, turbulent territory. Based on what OP said, I hardly think he consciously just used her. Maybe those were his actions, but his internal monologue was obviously different from her experience. So we'll take this as the last comment. This one said, why do men have intimate relationships with fat women, then act all boo-hoo Pikachu face and come crying here that, well, I'm not shallow, can end it if I don't want anything serious. She's not my type. She's not your type, but not enough to bother you. You still had sex and had a nice handy out of the deal. Next time, communicate with people and let them know if they're not your type before you go and F them on like multiple dates. I can get you started to lose interest in her, but you knew how she looked on the very first dates. And as you began to hang out more, you should have communicated that better instead of stagnating. Did you also make it clear upon the first or second date that you're not looking for anything serious? Or is that just a new development? That's kind of important. Yes. That's true. He could have made it very clear to her that, okay, I'm just here looking for something very casual. I'm not trying to get into something very serious. I just got out of a relationship. Then let her make her decision. But you know, we can blame OP all we want, right? But I would also say that the girl has a part to play, because I believe, it's just my personal opinion, as the woman, you are the one who sets the pace for actual activity in a relationship. So she too would have been like, I need to be sure, I need to be clear about what this is before going into this. I think she was being a bit reckless. Maybe I'm being too conservative, but I think she was being a bit reckless and she didn't really get any kind of security or commitment before going into this. And I think she too has to take some accountability for that. So yeah, that's the last comment. And I mean, there's just a lot of comments, and OP is very involved in the comments. So the next one says, paying for dates, giving advice. This has been discussed a lot, but most people are not grasping the concept of why the man should be paying for dates. I am a man, by the way. It shows leadership and dominance in a positive way, which is what the girl wants. It's not about the money or the fact that she's using you for money. Forget about the money for a second. She wants the guy to be the leader and can take care of everything so she can feel comfortable. Also, since the man almost always initiates the dates, it makes sense that he pays since he invited her out. Hassling your dates for payment just makes it awkward and ruins the flow, and it's not romantic at all. At that point, it just feels like two friends hanging out, which is not what you want. It doesn't have to be an extravagant or expensive dinner or event either. A simple Starbucks meeting should do. Then afterwards, inexpensive dinner if it goes well. If she is only using you for free food, trust me, you know early on. If the man complains that he can't afford a simple coffee date, then do something to make more money. Don't complain. The burden is not on the woman, it's the man since he's supposed to be in charge. I say this in a positive way. Women don't want to be in charge. They just want a fun, laid-back experience with you. Trust me, I speak from experience. I always pay for our dates, even when she offers. I tell her, don't worry about it. If the date doesn't work out, then no big deal. It was a risk I was willing to take. Dating is a risk. Who can smell that fresh air? This guy is a breath of fresh air. Who can smell the fresh air? I could not agree more with this comment. Like, this is so true. Personally, if you guys already know, I am very traditional. I believe that the man is supposed to be a leader. I'm the kind of person that will let the man lead any day, anytime. For me, I would not even be with someone that I cannot allow to lead. That shows I don't trust you. Do you understand? A man opting to assume his position as the man is just, oh my gosh, I don't know what would be more romantic. It is not even about the money, right? It's about the fact that this person can handle things. This person can take charge of things. When I'm with this person, I feel safe. I feel like I'm taken care of. It's about care. Women love to be catered for. At least most women. I am very much aware of the fact that there are some women that don't appreciate this, and that's totally fine. We're adults. We should all know what we want and what we don't want, right? But I'm speaking now from my personal view. I totally appreciate a man that can take care of things. Let's say you meet somebody and then he can maybe plan the dates, and then you get there. All you need to do is to dress up, be in your feminine, and get there, and then everything is taken care of. You don't know how nice that feels. That could be any kind of date, anything that you guys want to do, that's fine. But just the fact that this person put in the effort, he paid for the date, all you need to do was just relax and have nice interactions, be positive, be smiling, enjoy the experience. You to bring like positive energy to the whole experience, and then you guys just have a laid back experience, and that's it. For me, there's nothing more attractive than a man who organizes, preferably but not necessarily, and pays for the dates. Another thing is, if I go out with a male individual, right, and I'm opting to pay, just know that I don't see that person in a romantic way. That person is totally platonic. I don't see you. There's no ounce of romantic anything between us, because if I'm opting to pay, then we're just hanging out as friends, and that's okay as well, And another thing that I want to address is, it does not mean that a woman should not have money of her own or anything, because you know how these things go. As I said, dating is a risk. You might go out with somebody and something happens. Maybe you guys have a disagreement, he storms off. You should be able to pay in case of anything. You should have the possibility to pay for your own, right? You should have your own. But it's very nice when men pay. I don't know, personally, I just feel very taken care of, and I feel very happy when a man can just organize this thing, organize a nice, beautiful date, and pay for it. Oh my gosh, it just sends shivers down my spine. It's just a very attractive thing. I don't know, anybody who does that just gets, 1 or 2 brownie points. That is really attractive, and I love it. Okay, so let's get into the comments. Which says, I am a woman. If I ask someone out on a date, I offer to split the check or to pay. If I'm asking you out, I am not assuming you pay. If I don't know and you ask me out, I'm okay with splitting the check or let you pay if the date went well. If someone tells me they are going to pay and makes it a kind of weird power move and doesn't accept my money, we aren't going on any other dates. because it would rub me off the wrong way. That's what I'm talking about, because there are some people that will make it look weird, like maybe they want to act like, okay, since I paid for the date, I am entitled to your body or something like that. Then you should be able to catch that and be like, scratch it, I'm paying for my food, and that should be it. Personally, that would be it. Because if you want to make it now like, okay, since I paid, I have bought you, now you are my property. Please, you're not doing that. I'm going to pay for it. And when I pay for it, what does that mean? It means you've been sent automatically to the platonic group. Like, I am not even interested in anything. Whatever is going on here, I'm no longer interested in anything romantic with you. That's just what it means. Well, to each their own, really. Even though I don't agree with this person, but I think that I'm not the kind of person that will be willing to split any bill with anybody. I think that the man should pay, right? Regardless of who suggests the outing or the dates, I think that the man should pay. It's weird how men can just pay for a date to acknowledge the gender pay gap. It's turned into a power play, and then the women often feel obligated. She should not feel obligated. He owes it to her simply as a tax for the gender pay gap. What is this person talking about? So now we're entitled to men's money because of the pay gap. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Another person said, as a woman, I always in caps, I always pick up the check on the first date. The guy's reaction says a lot about who he is. I prefer keeping things balanced in my relationship, and we tend to split and take turns paying. So another person said, you do? I'm definitely shocked. I found that women also choose to do this, so afterwards they can decide where to go with things without feeling like they owe the guy anything. Just an example, guy pays $100 dinner, event, activity. A normal person will feel indebted in some type of way. Well, I don't think that I personally will feel indebted. I just feel like you're just doing what you're supposed to do, right? And if things work out, that's fine. If things don't work out, that's also fine. Dating is a risk, you know? So I don't think anybody should feel indebted. But I can acknowledge that some people would feel indebted. But that doesn't mean that the men don't have to pay. That means women should learn how not to feel indebted. So this one said, I like giving the middle finger to social norms. Plus, I out-earn almost all the guys I date. If they have a problem with me paying for a meal, my salary is probably going to be a much bigger problem. I have a healthy enough self-esteem to never feel like I owe anyone anything. Exactly, that's good. Guys with a toxic masculinity tend to be super put off when I pay. There are the guys who don't even offer to split, and more often than not, they turn out to be either super submissive or super disrespectful. The ones who go back and forth with me a few times, then see that I actually want to do it, and then back off, tend to be worth a few dates at least. Well, okay. So this person said, nah bro, us going out for dinner is because we don't know each other and are trying to figure out if we're a good fit. Your time is valuable, and so is mine. Doesn't matter who asks who, because at the end of the day, we're trying to see if we will be a good team. So costs on the date need to be split between the two parties. Well, I don't agree. This one said, but the concept is outdated. Ha ha ha. If you expect to be treated equally as a woman, but expect the man to pay, he cannot respect you equally. I mean, that cannot lead to a healthy relationship, right? This one said, this is a traditional dynamic, so it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But personally, I only date men with this mentality that they pay for the dates. And the level of respect men show me with this mentality, I am very comfortable and happy with it. The next comment says, I get where you're coming from, but supposed to is all culture's expectation, fam. 40 years ago in America, the woman was supposed to stay at home and take care of the house and kids. This is not the case today, nor should the previous expectation be carried through today. Women work, women join the military, women are CEOs, women are political leaders, women are monarchs, etc. Equality, fam. We are equal. Could a woman want what she said? Sure. But to be honest, it is unwise to assume everyone wants that, especially today. Personally, not looking for a woman to take care of like a child. Dominance isn't required in a mutually guided relationship. It should be a partnership, two halves that make the whole body. If you're worried about money or dates costing too much, maybe you shouldn't be dating. Probably rearrange your priorities and come back when you have a foundation worthy of someone else joining. We are all equal. Well, I think that this is not even a matter of equality. You might think I'm old-fashioned or whatever. Shoot me. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. But I think that women and men are different. We have different roles. Men are providers. You understand? That's okay. I feel like that's how Mother Nature created it. Men and women are different. So we are not the same. We cannot be treated the same. We cannot have the same roles, because what's the point of being different genders if we're just going to do the same things, right? Okay, so we'll take the last comment that says, he's not saying women aren't capable of being leaders. Of course they are, but most of the women I know want to turn it off when they get home, and you can only do that if you have a capable man to take the lead. Someone she can lean on and trust to hold things down at home, to be a pillar of strength and safety. A lot of women I've been with actually find it refreshing that they don't have to pay. Sure, they offer, but I don't let them. It's like he said, you invited them out, so the least you can do is to pay. Another person said, this is completely wrong. This isn't the 50s anymore. The standards existed because men had to prove that they could provide. This is no longer relevant, so the standards should be changed to suit the situation. You aren't showing leadership by paying. You are showing disrespect to her self-sufficiency. Nothing about splitting needs to be a hassle, and resolving it like a normal person actually shows that you aren't socially inept. If that gets awkward, either you or her has an issue. Who initiates also doesn't matter. That is just an excuse people use to uphold old standards, as men tend to initiate way more. A date isn't one person giving a gift to someone or paying for their time. It is about two people getting to know each other in a fun setting. If then paying takes away from it being a fun and laid-back experience, then that's on them. If she makes a fuss about who is paying, she is the one who can't afford the date and should be doing something to make money. Your post is frankly ridiculously outdated and doesn't even lead to better outcome if a long-term relationship is the goal. Well, obviously I don't agree with this person. I think that OP's post is really valid, and I think that I'm the kind of person who will encourage men to pay. Like, guys, if you're taking your girls out on dates, pay for the dates. That's really nice. It's a really nice gesture, and these people have the right to feel the way they feel. They have the right to have their own opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, but I just personally don't agree. I agree with the fact that men should pay, and it's not about payment, it's about showing care, and that is very highly appreciated by women like me. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go to the next story. So this one said, men only. How do you guys feel about dating a woman who has already had a kid? Question. Personally, I think as a man, raising another man's kid is pretty embarrassing, but I want to hear your opinions about it. How do you feel about men that raise other men's kids? Would you ever be a stepfather yourself? Edit, I'm 24 years old and I have no kids of my own. Wow, since I'm not a man, I'll just go through the comments and then I'll give my own personal comments along the way. So this person said, what is embarrassing about raising someone else's kid? It personally won't bother me. I am 24 as well. I wouldn't mind stepping in and filling the void in the kid's life. However, I would only want to be in this position if I'm financially stable and ensure that I will be getting married to the kid's mother. As of now, I don't think I'm ready to be in a long-term relationship. In conclusion, I don't mind dating a mother as long as we are both looking to marry and we both are ready. I don't think of it as raising another man's kid, but I just think of it as raising my girlfriend's / future wife's kid. Okay, that's a good response. This one says, I don't want to get attached to the child, then be separated. It is bad enough with pets. The original father will always have a foot in the door of the relationship. Who knows, they might make up, then reattempt their relationship. Well, I think that when it comes to dating a single mom, it could be a very easy thing, right? Depending on the situation. For instance, if it's a situation where the parents are amicable and they're co-parenting, then that should not be an issue. I think that should be very easy to slide into as the stepdad, because probably you stay with the child and the mom, take care of them and be the dad at home, and then the child has her biological dad that should probably see a number of times a week depending on the arrangement. So I don't think that is very complicated. There's some men that cannot stand the fact that this ex of yours, who is clearly someone that you've had something to do with at some point, will be lingering in the corner because you have a child together. That's totally understandable. So when it comes to this, even though I'm not a man, I have had people very close to me that are in these kind of situations where they have stepdads, and their stepdads actually turned out to be really good. They were really like their actual dads, you know. So I don't think that's an issue. And also, it could also be that the child's dad passed away, so there's no quote unquote competition. It's just you, the child, and your potential partner, you know. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with raising someone else's child. I feel that at the end of the day, a child is a child, and if you can give love to a child, I don't see why not. Another person said it's definitely a difficult spot for some men. Men who don't want kids will be turned away because they just don't want any kids. Regardless of whose kid it is, why take a relationship that might force you into fatherly responsibilities that you don't want? And men who want kids but haven't had them yet often are put in awkward spots where he expects the mother to have his own kids, but then the age gap of the kids are crazy wide and things just get messy. You also feel like you have divided loyalties and might love your biological kids more than the kids of the other man. And obviously the other man who wants kids and already has them is often the relationship with the mother of those kids. So the only combination of men that are usually okay with being with single mothers are single fathers who already have kids. 2, the rare man that wants kids, doesn't have them yet, but doesn't care if those kids are bio or adopted. Then those men can just adopt the other man's kids, and it's totally lovely, and it's a totally lovely relationship. But most men want biological kids, so those are rare. Maybe men with hereditary problems or infertility would qualify, or just super bros who are really selfless. Another person said, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I am the son of a single mom. I find that thought process embarrassing because it completely dehumanizes the child. The child did not choose to exist, yet they are called embarrassing. I don't know, to me a family is what you make of it. I consider the closest friends I have brothers. They don't need to be blood related. Someone doesn't have to come from my male private part to be my family. I think the truth is that it's scary to possibly love the child as your own and then lose them because the relationship ends. I think it's hard to be that vulnerable, especially if you want your own family. So I can understand the apprehension somewhat, but it's just an immature way to view single mothers, especially since people rarely have this view to single fathers. Edit, my main issue is the idea of being embarrassing. It's your prerogative if you have your drive to have your own kids, but the idea of being embarrassed to raise someone else's child is what I don't understand. Do we look at people adopting children as embarrassing? So how is it that taking someone under your wings who need guidance is viewed as embarrassing? It's okay if you don't want kids. You don't have to date single parents. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I think that the fact that you're raising someone else's kid does not mean that you cannot have your own kid. If you're the kind of man that wants to have kids and you are with a single mom, you can take that kid under your wing as your child, but then have your own kids. You can literally eat your cake and have it, you know. So I don't think, unless you don't want to have kids at all, then that's a different story. Then you should not even be dating a single parent. And also the person talking about the crazy age gap, I don't see anything wrong with that. It does not change the fact that they are siblings. Another person said, same goes for women. My brother has a kid and my wife and I spent the entire week with him, his kid and his girlfriend. His girlfriend hardly even looked at his kid. What? Only when the kid will ask her a direct question is when she will speak to the kid. Wow. Oh my God. Another person said, as a single child raised only by my mother, I have to say that I despise men that don't get protection when they don't want to raise a child for one reason or the other. Men and leave them behind are effing cowards. That being said, I won't ever date a girl with a child for the simple reason that I won't be sure if it will last, and I don't want to mess up my feelings or the child's feelings. Also, usually the girl was young and arrogant when they had the child with a random dude. I will sure not waste my time with her. It's not always the case. Some people were raped, if you know what I mean, forcefully So it's not always the case. And to say that you will not be sure, so you cannot be sure that it will last, so you don't want to mess the child's feelings, I feel like this person is just giving excuses. If you would not date a single mother, just say that I would not date a single mother. Stop giving all these excuses, you know. Another person said, I do not see the embarrassment, to be honest. I am weird, I guess, because I never really wanted children, but I'm dating a single mom and we have been together for only 9 months. She has 2 kids, the oldest is 17 and the youngest is 6. It doesn't bother me, even though you will somehow have to behave like a stepdad from time to time. Well, I think that stepdads are really selfless people. They're really generous people. You have to have a certain kind of heart to accept to be a father to a child who is not biologically yours. I think that that's very noble. But on the other hand, I don't blame men that say, I can't do it. It's better to just say, I cannot do it, than to go there and act like that woman that did not even look at the child. You want to date the child's parents, but you cannot look at the child. How do you expect that to work? If you're going to date a single parent, you should also be aware of the fact that that child is attached to them. It's a full package. They come with the child. So if you're the kind of person that is not willing to assume that parental role, even at least from time to time, then just don't date a single parent. Just look for someone single without a child, you know. If you're going for a single parent, know that you automatically become a parent to their kids, even if the other parent is present in their lives. Well, that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. So guys, we've finally come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.